Proud partners and supporters of A Familiar Walk enhancing disaster preparedness in the Bahamas include Bahamas Telecommunications Company Limited, Bahamas Couriers Limited, authorized dealer of UPS, Sandals Royal Bahamian Spa Resort and Offshore Island, Bahamas First General Insurance Company Limited, Commonwealth Bank, Furniture Plus, Sun Oil Limited, Family Guardian Insurance Company, Impact Waste Disposable Limited, NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers, The Sleep Gallery, Battery and Tire Specialists Limited, and Dalbina's Agency Limited. Thank you, sponsors, for assisting us as we together build a better Bahamas. The weather affects everyone, whether we like it or not. It's our constant companion, as tranquil, as turbulent, as phenomenal, and sometimes unpredictable as life itself. Welcome to the program, A Familiar Walk, enhancing disaster preparedness in the Bahamas. I am your host, Mario Nuri. We begin our program by explaining the brief dynamics of hurricanes. A tropical cyclone is a low-pressure system that forms in the tropics. Hurricane is the name given to fully developed tropical cyclones that are found in the Atlantic Ocean, along with the Caribbean Sea, Gulf of Mexico, and the North Pacific Ocean, east of the international dateline. When local residents of an area refer to a hurricane, they are speaking of the violent, stormy weather system that brings torrential rains and destructive high-velocity winds of over 74 miles per hour. Our familiar walk is step-by-step with the Bahamas Red Cross along with NEMA, and we sit here today to enhance disaster preparedness in the Bahamas. We are delighted to have Ms. Carolyn Turnquest, Director General of the Bahamas Red Cross, on our program today. Welcome to our program today, Ms. Turnquest.
And thank you, Mario, for having us.
Ms. Turnquest, I'm reminded of the importance of technology as we prepare to continue and enhance our disaster preparedness project on A Familiar Walk. You and I spoke before the hurricane season began, and one thing I found so interesting was the Bahamas Red Cross app. This app gives you instant access to the information we need in the event a disaster strikes, as well as tips on how to prepare for a disaster. Tell us what you are most proud of when reflecting on this revolutionary app.
Yes, thank you. Last year, we developed, in conjunction with the American Red Cross, who got the app from the British Red Cross, and they shared it with us. And we went on a training program in Trinidad to customize the app for the Bahamas. The app, as you said, is very informative. It speaks to hazards and all facets of hazards, not just hurricanes, but floods, tsunamis, earthquakes, some of which we don't have, but nonetheless, the information is there. It's very interactive. It has quizzes that you can go in and enhance your knowledge about the various hazards. And so we were very much delighted. We didn't have the funds to actually put it out there and market it like we would have liked. And recently this year, the American Red Cross held a competition around the Caribbean, which I'm proud to say we came in second out of 18 national societies. And that helped us to market. We reached out to various partners, such as BTC, to help us to market this app. And we must say, to date, we have almost 1,000 downloads. We are hoping to have much more than that, considering the population of the Bahamas. And so it is a delight for me to be here today to speak about it so that we can increase our numbers, because the app is an important tool for the Bahamian public.
Ms. Turnquest, our program aims to reflect the views of our audience. And our team of A Familiar Walk especially found this app is most innovative, user-friendly, easy access, and I particularly like the checklist aspect of the app. Please tell us of the implications of this app and the assistance to the wider community because of this app, as well as both apps you have, not only the hazardous app, but the first aid app. Please tell us more.
It has everything from preparation, what to do before, during, and after disaster, which is critical. I know a lot of persons are not into smartphones, or they say, well, I only have a bubbler, but this is a life-saving tool. And I encourage persons that don't have smartphones to get a smartphone, because some people say, well, I only want to answer the phone when it rings. Your phone can actually save your life one day. Because in addition to the hazard app, we also came out with a first aid app that can help you save a life within your home. Once you call 919 for an ambulance, that ambulance has to take time to get there. In the meantime, you can be looking up the situation. For instance, whether the person is having a stroke or they're having a seizure, you can look up that information and see what can I do to help to save my loved one. And so yes, the app to me is something that all Bahamians should have on their smartphones.
Ms. Turnquest, another point I remember a few months ago when I heard of the app, I telephoned you. You and I were speaking about it before the entire Bahamas knew fully of the app.
Yes.
And now you just not only have the first aid app, but it's also a hazard app. I have to download the hazard app. I already have the first aid app.
Yes.
To me, does the two apps work hand in hand with each other?
Yes, they do. You'll find that the first aid app, however, has more video knowledge. It has printed knowledge, as well as there's videos that can show you step by step what to do in those emergencies. They link together. However, you should still have both apps, because each one speaks fully to what you want to look up.
At Shell, our fuels aren't the same as they used to be. When you drive into our forecourts, it's the same. And the way the attendant fills up your tank, that's still the same too. And that's where the similarity ends, because we have invested our passion for innovation and technical expertise to make new Shell Unleaded even more efficient. So when you fill up next time, you can go even further without spending more. Shell fuels designed for extra miles but no extra cost. And that makes all the difference.
For those just tuning in, we're delighted to have with us Ms. Carolyn Turnquest of the Bahamas Red Cross. And we were just discussing the app, the hazard app, as well as the first aid app, which is very informative, and we invite you to make sure and download both apps. It may become useful to you one day. One thing, Ms. Turnquest, I'd like to turn your attention to. A lot is going on in the world today, especially when it comes to disaster preparedness. And when I focus on what's going around the world, it seems as though we're all interconnected. We may be far from it, but it somehow connects with us in some way or form. We pause at this time to reflect on the many disasters around the world and how the Bahamas can learn from these disasters as we prepare, as we enhance what we already have here as it relates to disaster preparedness.
As you're aware, and many persons are, of course, that the Bahamas Red Cross is part of an international organization. We connect every day. We may not connect with 189 national societies, but there are central areas where everyone feeds into. For instance, ours is the Caribbean. And we get alerts, we get news, we get newsletters on a daily basis advising us as to what is happening. Where is the Red Cross at this point in time? How is the Red Cross responding to these various emergencies around the place? Just recently, as you know, the many fires that are happening in California, the Red Cross is on the ground daily, taking care of victims, trying to teach persons on prevention of fires, etc. So while we may be the Bahamas Red Cross, we are definitely a part of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. And for us, that's a plus.
to me, it's very important that you receive assistance not only from your team of professionals, I like to call them at the Bahamas Red Cross, but the volunteers. What would the Bahamas Red Cross look like without the participation of corporate Bahamas and volunteers and the wonderful team that you have at the Bahamas Red Cross?
It would be very scary. As a matter of fact, we can safely say that we may as well close our doors. If we had to fund all of the activities that we do, take care of all of the programs, if we had to fund that internally, there is absolutely no way that we can do it. And so it is critical to us that Corporate Bahamas is on board, that our volunteers who cannot not only give funds, but they can give up their time, they can come in and get training. It's critical to the ongoing work of the Bahamas Red Cross. As you know, we are an auxiliary to government. However, we are independent, which is one of our 7 fundamental principles, is independence. And we look to the public, our team of volunteers, our disaster team members who are volunteers who show up every Wednesday, on their own time without pay, so that we can be ready in the event of any disaster. We have a database of volunteers. We encourage persons to come in and volunteer. We have a number of Facebook pages, whether it's for the youth, it's for the trainings that we do. We're on Instagram, just to keep people informed. And so it's very vital to us to keep that open line of communication with our volunteers and team members.
Ms. Turnquest, I must bring your attention to our Family Island connection. When it comes to disaster preparedness, from June throughout November is the hurricane season. What do you say to the Family Islanders tuned into our program as they prepare for disaster preparedness?
First of all, I want to thank the Family Islanders for their support. The Bahamas Red Cross, with the help of the American Red Cross, a project called RITA. Previous, we had the CHAP program as well as the Saving Lives in the Caribbean program. And we were on the ground in a number of communities in the family violence, and the response was good. We work very closely with the Family Island administrators, and our goal and aim is to develop what we call CERT teams, community emergency response teams. And so we go in conjunction with NEMA, and we do trainings. We also do what we call vulnerable and capacity assessments, so that people are aware of their surroundings and what should not be there, what should be there, what they should be doing as a team. And we found that it has helped to strengthen the ties and the bonds within the family violence. So Family Islanders, thank you so much. We look forward to working with them. We have our group leads, and as we speak, we're on the ground in Andros, Central Andros. We're in Central Eleuthera, as well as Grand Bahama. We're on the ground working with the RITA team, because we want to do what we call building resilient communities. And so our buzzword, moving forward for this particular project, is to build strong. Resilience, we are working with resilience. And so we want, when we were to leave teams on the ground, the communities would be more resilient and be able to actually help themselves and work along with us to strengthen them to get up sooner and move on.
Ms. Turnquest, we're here on the beautiful property of Sandals, and I'm quite sure you are grateful to the Corporate Bahamas response and assistance to you at the Bahamas Red Cross. What do you say to BTC and Sandals for their support with you throughout the years?
We are so grateful to both of these entities. Sandals, without fail, every year for the fair, we can count on them for food. A number of things Sandals does for us, and so we are very, very grateful. We work well with the team here at Sandals, and we appreciate everything that they do. BTC every day, of course, helps us. We call on them, we have to bother them for things. Right now we're getting ready for a drawing for someone to win a smartphone, those persons that downloaded the app. And so how do you say thanks to a company like BTC other than Thank you so much. We are indeed grateful for your assistance.
Ms. Turnquest, thank you for being a part of our team today on this wonderful program, and a special thank you to your stellar production team at the Bahamas Red Cross. It was truly indeed a pleasure of ours having you today.
Thank you, and you're welcome.
Commonwealth Bank has great offers for back-to-school and vacation loans to help you get prepared this time of year. But this year's Summer Madness specials are truly worth celebrating.
At Commonwealth Bank, I was approved for an education and vacation loan, and I also signed up for a savings account with 5.5% interest.
Loans to help with tuition, uniforms, travel, and more. Come celebrate Summer Madness specials with us. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Fall signals the start of the festive season at Furniture Plus. We've restocked our showrooms with the season's finest furniture collections, plus signature accessories to add warmth and magazine-style glamour. Make your home pop with the latest trends and hottest looks. Discover functional and fashionable appliances that get the job done. You'll be amazed at what a Furniture Plus fall makeover can do. Shop early and you'll be sitting pretty for the holidays. Shop Furniture Plus, Nassau, Grand Bahama, and Abaco.
We're delighted to have Captain Stephen Russell, the Director of the National Emergency Management Agency in the Bahamas. It's truly indeed a privilege having him on the program today. Welcome to the program, Captain Russell.
I'm delighted to be here. Thank you.
Captain Russell, during my research planning for this program, I have noticed that you have embraced a comprehensive disaster management, whereby the Bahamas now seeks to strengthen institutional capacity while simultaneously diminishing exposure and managing and coordinating response to natural and technological hazards. How important is it for NEMA to continue focusing its efforts toward ensuring that we have a well-trained and well-informed community?
Well, as a country, you know, the Bahamas as an archipelago, expanding over 1,000 miles from Inagua and Meguana in the south to Grand Key, Walker's Key in the north. That's a wide span, and there's 700 or more islands and keys in between, and persons throughout the islands. Not just residents, but visitors throughout the millions of visitors that come to the Bahamas in a given year. We can have persons throughout the entire Bahamas. So it's important that we are able to make contact with all of our islands and advising persons of impending threats or disasters that may be impacting the islands. So we have a task at hand to try and make sure we're in contact with them at all times.
I had the privilege to attend NEMA's exhibition last year, and it is because of that exhibition I decided to not only think of the hurricane season, but disaster preparedness in general. Hence my theme, Enhancing Disaster Preparedness in the Bahamas. Captain Russell, tell us of your wonderful activity schedule, planned not only here in New Providence, but also the Family Islands.
Well, first of all, the exhibitions is an opportunity for all of our partners that are part of the NEMA program to come together and really sensitize the public as to the role they play in the overall disaster management scheme of things. So the exhibitions allow them to come and set up and show component parts of what they do to help us with our mitigation, preparedness, and response and recovery program as it relates to disaster management throughout the entire Bahamas. Again, we focus not just on hurricanes, but we focus on all forms of man-made and natural disasters. The fires, the floods, the tornadoes, boating mishaps, aircraft mishaps. And likewise, we not just here in New Providence, but we also aim to ensure that all of our family islands, where there's an administrator and his council, they're able to organize their local communities to respond to any form of those disasters that may occur in their particular districts or islands. So our aim is to make sure that all of our islands are prepared to respond to any form of man-made and natural disasters.
Captain Russell, I cannot leave my Family Islands out of our familiar walk. As we encourage the entire Bahamas to be prepared, please share with our audience some of the Community Emergency Response Team exercises that were ongoing in Eleuthera and the water rescue training and equipment exercise on Long Island and the disaster conference for the Southern Bahamas. This links with our theme of enhancing disaster preparedness in the Bahamas. Tell us a little bit more of this project.
That was born out of the fact that over the past 5 years, we had a series of boating aircraft mishaps. And we saw we're here in New Providence. We scrambled to try and get rescue teams into one of our lakes. And it has evolved from that. We've teamed up with the United States Embassy and one of our partners in Colorado, the United States Northern Command, and we asked them to conduct these workshops for us, these floodwater rescue exercises. And over the past 3 years, we've conducted 9 such exercises in 9 of our islands. And the aim was to ensure that we have teams in place, teams of 15 to 20 persons who have full rescue gear, the small boats and kayaks that they can go into marshland if a plane crash, God forbid, or if a plane crash in sight of land in the ocean, they can make a rescue. Or if we have flooding in some of our communities, and particularly after storms or floods, storms or hurricanes, we're left with floods in certain areas. So we have these 9 teams in 9 of our islands that can mount an initial response until the Defense Force or some other emergency group can come to the area. And as we go into next year, we again teamed up with those our partners, like I mentioned, from the United States Northern Command, and we hope to go into 3 other islands, Crooked Island and Acklands and Exuma next year, to have a full 12 teams in 12 of our islands going forward into next year. At this time, we have completed Grand Bahama, Eleuthera, Long Island, Cat Island, North Andros, Bimini, so here in New Providence as well. So there are 9 islands that we have completed the training, and we hope to continue these exercises as long as the funds available and the personnel from our partner nation, America and the Northern Command, are willing to assist us with the exercises.
Captain Russell, I could not help but notice the collaboration efforts that NEMA have with all agencies. And also, even today, we're delighted to have Ms. Turnquest of the Bahamas Red Cross on our program. How important is this collaboration exercise for you at NEMA?
Well, the collaboration both with government departments or government agencies as well as non-government organizations, it's a positive and a plus for us in terms of disaster management. And not just here in the province, any country in the world, once you have this collaboration, it is a plus for the agency. What makes it easiest for us here in the Bahamas, our Disaster Act makes it mandatory that all government agencies make a liaison officer available to NEMA. At the beginning of each year, I write a letter to all the agency heads, who is your liaison officer to NEMA this year? We also send a note to our partner agencies, the Red Cross, Salvation Army, all the others, who would be your liaison officer to the agency this year? And once they all come in, and we have almost about 40 agencies that are part of NEMA, and we meet every last Friday of the month. They all join us for that monthly meeting, so we're constantly planning as to how we would respond to any form of disaster that would occur anywhere in the Bahamas. That's what we do here in New Providence, and we try to replicate that in every single island where there is an administrator. He would pull his government agencies together and NGOs in his community, and they would form the local disaster consultative committee. So the collaboration is necessary, and it makes your work easier. You're having the full grouping there, and they bring their resources to the table, let you know what they can do and what they cannot do. And that's how we're able to connect and get things done in a smooth and efficient manner, a cost-effective manner, through the collaboration approach. Further afield, that's locally here, we are part of the wider Caribbean. There is an agency called SEDIMA, the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, which is based in Bridgetown, Barbados. There are 18 countries that are part of this grouping, and we have pledged that if any of our countries are impacted and overwhelmed by a disaster, once a request is made, one of the countries will come to our assistance. So we are part of that. Our Prime Minister, he is on the council of that agency, and he has another representative, Mr. Arnold Forbes, an MP, who is his representative on the council from time to time. I serve with my counterparts as directors of all the 18 countries. We meet at least twice a year to discuss regional plans and how we can assist one another as necessary. Again, I mentioned about our international partners. The United States Northern Command, they have jurisdiction for the Northern Atlantic, and they're concerned about anything that may impact the islands in the Northern Atlantic. And we forged a strong partnership with them over the years, and they've been helping us with our conferences, exercise, training, capacity building, and knowledge exchange. Rhode Island and through the National Guard, we are state partners of Rhode Island, and likewise, again, it's through that particular organization. Capacity building, knowledge exchange, training coming to the islands, that is an ongoing exercise. Just last week, or this week, we've had a wonderful work exercise with PAHO, the Pan American Health Organization. They conducted 2 exercises for us over the past 10 days. Psychological first aid, where a team has been trained up to, when a disaster occurs, they will report to the disaster site and provide basic counseling and care for persons in distress. Over the past 2 decades, we see we've had a number of disasters and our people were in distress. So this team can now assist with getting to the scene and providing some brief counseling to persons who are suffering as a result of the mishap. This week, we also had PAHO again working with us in providing a logistics support system training. In the aftermath of disasters, relief from all sectors come into the country. We've formed a team now who can now do an inventory check of whatever's coming to the Bahamas and help us redirect them to the most critical areas where the items may be needed. So these partnerships with the Red Cross, Salvation Army, PAHO, even BTC you mentioned, they've been a tremendous partner to us. After Hurricane Sandy, the CEO came to me and said, Russell, just put a proposal together for us. We prepared a proposal to work in 2 islands. They gave us the funds, and we were able to execute the project in those islands that were earmarked. So these partnerships, they're wonderful. The clearing banks here in New Providence, 6 of them, again, they came forward and they made a contribution to us to help us in our relief and recovery exercise. So we're truly appreciative of the support of corporate Bahamas, our local partners, regional partners, and international partners for the assistance that they've been providing us in our recovery and recovery efforts following most of the disasters. Again, NEMA, not just hurricanes, any form of man-made or natural disasters, we stand ready to respond.
Captain Russell, I cannot thank you enough for being on our program, A Familiar Walk, Enhancing Disaster Preparedness in the Bahamas. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today.
I guess a team effort. Yes, thank you.
The Home Gallery, formerly the Sleep Gallery. We're still the home of Tempur-Pedic, Sealy Posturepedic, Serta Perfect Sleeper Mattress, and so much more. We now carry an exquisite selection of fine linens, comforter, duvets, bath towels, rugs, and a wide assortment of home accessories. Everything you need to beautify your bed, bath, and home. You have to see it to believe it. The Home Gallery, open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Cable Beach Shopping Plaza, Westridge.
Also now open at Harbor Bay.
We began as pioneers seeking to make a difference in the lives of Bahamians, to offer insurance that people could depend on. As our country has grown, so have we, into a company that thousands of Bahamians believe in, ensuring your dreams and focusing on you, our family, always remembering where we've been, where we are now, and where we are going. Celebrating 50 golden years. Family Guardian, 50 years strong.
We're delighted to have Chester Robards, the Manager of Public Relations here at Sandals, with us. Chester, I cannot thank you enough for inviting us and our team here on our program today. Thank you, buddy.
It's been our pleasure. I mean, as you may know, Sandals is very community-minded, and we're happy that there's a program that will come to the community and teach them how to be well-adjusted in case of an emergency.
Ms. Turnquest at Bahamas Red Cross made mention of the support of Sandals. How important is that for you?
Well, the collaboration between Sandals and the Red Cross is very important. I think after a flood a year or 2 ago, we donated some linens and towels for those who lost some of their things. We continue to support the Red Cross. We're happy to do it, and I'm sure that they always need help, and we're always there to help them.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, sponsors, for assisting us as we together build a better Bahamas.